Hey everybody, it's Jeff here with the Mentor team at Realty Executives Cooper Spransey. I'm with Krista Flanagan of the Friends of Oregon School District, and we're here to talk today a little bit about how the Friends of the School District have had to adjust and adapt to our current environment in meeting the needs of a lot of the kids in our school district. So Krista, thank you for being here, first of all, and for everything that you guys always do.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Yeah, of course. Is there, for the people that aren't familiar with the Friends of the Oregon School District, can you maybe share a little bit about what it is that you do during a normal time period and kind of what your goals are as a program?
Sure. So Friends of Oregon School District started in 2016. There was a group of 4 of us who live in this community, have kids in the school district, and we're a completely separate organization from the school district. We're our own private nonprofit 501c3, and our goal to start was we really listened to all of the school district staff, teachers, administrators, nurses, social workers, mental health professionals, and said, you know, what can we help you do? Because we know that education is really important, and there are kids in our district that maybe are struggling a little bit. 20% of our kids are on free and reduced lunch, so that means about 800 kids in our district don't have enough money to get by in terms of food. So things that we heard from school district staff were food. Kids are hungry, they're not getting enough to eat, and if they can't eat, they can't learn. That transportation was potentially an issue in terms of if they miss the bus or parents are working, they can't get to after school activities, and kids really need that connection. There was maybe a concern about having internet access at home. And then the fourth was maybe kids don't have good adult role models or mentors that were helping them focus on schoolwork or education, or maybe through no fault of anyone's, they just weren't there because they had to work a second shift job. And so we developed programs, and the most important programs we developed were our food programs. So we got healthy snacks in the schools, and then this food pack program, which whenever school was not in session, administrators and teachers identified kids that maybe needed food because they weren't getting hot lunch at school or breakfast. And so those programs have been going for 4 years, and little did we know that this situation would happen and that those food programs would be super critical in time.
So during normal times, I mean, how is the program growing from, 4 years ago when you got it off the ground to where we sit today, maybe during normal times, and how have you seen that expand and help the kids in the community?
So when we started, we probably were doing each school break. So that's a 1-day break, a 2-day break, spring break, holiday break. We were probably doing between 50 to 60 food packs. And those were breakfast, lunch. We gave something for the whole family to have as meals. And then the school district, we would bring them to the school district, and the school district would deliver them to the homes in terms of the families. So that was really important, that families didn't have to come and find somewhere to get them. And then we would do 15 food gift cards for the high school, because high school kids, we didn't want them having to carry bags of food home. So fast forward to this year, we were at 171 food packs for all the, kindergarten through 8th grade, and then the 15 gift cards for the high school. So kind of interesting, as this was all developing, it was really coming on spring break time, which everybody knows. And so we had these food packs ready and gift cards. And then, as we all have kids in school, we learned that school was not happening that Monday. So, we contacted the district and said, hey, you've got some time to develop your food program. We've got 171 food packs ready to roll. So we kind of supplemented them a little bit, got them to the administration, and then the administration and student services actually delivered them to the families themselves, which was amazing, because that this was changing daily. People were kind of in crisis in terms of who was working, who wasn't, and how we're going to get these food to this family. So we're really appreciative of the school district, and it's always been a great partnership with them. Yeah. So then that was spring break. Then a week later, we did 20 other food packs, because there were families that were starting to be in dire need of getting food in terms of as businesses started to close down. So now we are ready to do another one, which is going to happen next Monday. And we are up to 261 food packs, which is 122 families. And so, as you can see, that's a 40% growth in a month. And so we see that continuing to grow. And the tricky part is, as everybody knows, as they go get food, it's getting a little bit harder for us to get bulk in terms of the volume that we need to buy. But, I want to give a shout out to Julie Swartzmiller, who's on our board, and her sister, Shelly Mehring. They are master shoppers. They've gone to Janesville. They've gone to Sun Prairie. They've gone to, all the Sam's Club, Costco, and they just have developed partnerships with these people that know how important it is for us to get food to these kids.
Yeah. Well, it's incredible, like, to hear some of those numbers and the way that the program's changed a little bit. And now what you're dealing with now. So, I mean, you kind of touched on trying to expand out to find, where can we get things in bulk and try to reach a higher number unexpectedly. I mean, this is something you didn't plan for, like spring break or summer vacation or something else that you typically might plan for. So how are the Friends kind of adjusting to this time period now, and what changes have you been able to make? What are you kind of still working through, trying to figure out as we go into this uncertain future here?
Well, in terms of our food programs, we're not doing snacks anymore. Those that were in the schools have been transferred to the school district, them doing the breakfasts and the lunches. And so we're really kind of being, and as you know, the school district is continuing their breakfast and lunch to goes that people can drive up and get those even through spring break. But we're really kind of starting to be the fill-in where we know that these families are, it's getting pretty tough for them. And so we're getting ready to do food packs kind of every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then kind of outside of food programs, we also what's called our Champions Fund, that was for individual students where staff could identify or have conversations with individual students that maybe needed something. Traditionally, it's been, could they go to a leadership conference, or could we pay for their driver's license? Well, now it's, this kid needs clothes, or they need some personal care items. And so that program is still running, even though students are not technically at school. We can get an email from any staff person. They can say, hey, this kid really needs this. Can you give us some money or a gift card to do that? We're still doing that. Our mentor program, which you're a part of, Jeff, where, we've paired up people in the community, adults in the community, with fourth grade students. We're trying to keep that going because we also know that relationships have been built with these adults and these students at RCI. And so even during this difficult time, it's important to keep those connections going. So we're trying to make some of those connections still happen. But, we've just kind of had to be nimble and, see where the need is. Our goal has always been, we partner with the school district, so we let them take the lead of what they need. But I think what has been really humbling for us and good for us is that we were able, in my background is event management. I manage large scale events. So I'm not used to this kind of thing, but that's what I do for a living. And so it was kind of like, okay, here we go. Ramp up plans. What do you need? How can we facilitate this? And let's just go. And that's why it's kind of nice that we're, a 4-person board that we can say, okay, we've all got different skills. Who's doing this? Who's manning Facebook? Who's, listening to what people want? So that's kind of where we've been. But I guess, the other thing is that people have really said, how can we help? How can we help?
Yes.
And so we've had teams that have put together food packs. Well, given what's happening with health and safety, we can't have people help. And so we've just within our families where we're keeping 6 feet apart, but our families have been doing that and using gloves and using, disinfectant and that sort of thing to get these things together and getting them to the schools who are distributing them. And so really the only thing people can really help us with right now is money. And we do need that because as you've seen, we're doing more food packs. We're doing them more frequently, those sorts of things, which thank you. And Michelle, you guys have always been really good supporters of ours, and you guys have stepped up this time too. So we really appreciate you guys.
Well, you guys do a huge service for the community and for our kids. So, we certainly appreciate that. And it's definitely easy to back. But you kind of touched on it a little bit right now. Obviously we can't get groups of people together to, put together these food packs and, help in that way. So donations seems to be the biggest way that the community can help this program keep moving forward and support our kids during this time. Is that correct? And then how can people make those donations and make those contributions?
Yeah, that's really kind of the only thing that's safe and is very helpful for us right now is donations. And so there are a couple ways. One is right off our website, which is friendsofosd.com. And there's a PayPal right on the home page, so people can click on PayPal and just make a donation through that way. Or if they don't want to do that, they can mail a check to us, which is actually comes to my house, which is 401 Medina Street and here in Oregon. And so those are really that's really what we need from people at this point in time. But, potentially as this loosens up, and we'll see what happens. But right now, it's really monetary donations that help us. And also, please donate to the Oregon Food Pantry too, because they're filling a huge need right now where we're trying to help this group of kids within our district. They're really helping the broader community. And so they really have some challenges and some needs right now too, in terms of changing their operations, how they're getting food. They really can't take, and they won't take donations from people right now, food donations, because it's just not safe. So they need monetary donations as well.
Krista, is there anything else that you think would be really helpful for the community to know or be aware of regarding Friends of Oregon School District? What our kids and our families and our community members need? Anything else that you want to help get the word out about?
Yeah, I think if you yourself, if you're listening to this, or a family in the district that really needs some help, the best thing for you to do is to reach out to the schools. So your school principal or your school counselor, that's really the conduit. We really work through the district, and for people to know that our district is doing an amazing job. I'm also on the school board, so I've seen firsthand what our district is doing, and they are doing an amazing job. They're super, Jeff, your wife is a member of that district staff, that they are caring, professional, amazing people that are so good at their jobs, and they really care about our kids. And so, reach out to them if you know a family in need, that where we can step in and help. It really goes through the school district. But, I think the other thing is just as we move into this new phase of our kids doing distance learning, everybody's going to need to be patient. And so let's all cut each other some slack and see if we can find some good in this in terms of time you can spend with your family. And, hopefully we can all get some things out of this about what's really important and what it means to be a community. And it's been pretty cool to see how our community has risen to the occasion.
Thank you so much for sharing that last piece right there. I think, you see so many people stressing out about the homeschooling aspect and, trying to manage their schedule through the day. And, a lot of people really drive themselves nuts with how do we do this? And I think what you said about just, first of all, cut yourself some slack, try to focus on the important things and, have a little bit of patience as we all figure out our new reality is great advice for everybody. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
So Krista, thank you so much for taking some time this morning to share about the Friends and some of the needs in the community. Hopefully we can get some people to see this and step up to help out. I know we got a great community, and I'm sure people will. So thank you for taking some time, and we appreciate everything that you and the whole organization does.
Thank you. You guys are amazing community members too, and I appreciate you doing this and giving us the opportunity to share some things.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Krista. Thank you so much.